Hello and welcome to the tutorial of Wizard Chess 2. When you start the game, you have a selection of two heroes, a banker and a warmonger. Basically the first one accumulates more gold and the second one has more orcs. We're gonna play the banker, just for the sake of it. So, the game consists of 5 levels. Every level is you making a series of pretty much 10 choices, meaning which of these guys you're going to fight and what is the reward that you're going to get from behind it. If you hover over stuff, it's going to tell you what the reward is. There's a lot of mechanic explained on the help screen, some of which I'm going to cover here. And the game pretty much consists of two screens, the one you're looking at and the battle screen, which is largely inspired by Heroes of Might and Magic series. So I'm going to just pick one of these opponents to fight, probably these dwarfs over here, and show you that screen. Cool, so this is a battle screen. The map in the middle is the battle map, the stuff on the left is the statistics of every unit, attack and stuff like that. The action queue shows you what the order of the battle is going to be. If you hover over your unit, you can see its stats, and you can also toggle view over here and see some special abilities that the unit has. In this case, this guy, whenever you skip a turn, it actually does something special, which is giving +1 defense to your units. Again, there is a help here that explains how the battle proceeds, which I'm not going to dive into too much, but there are some rules as to when units attack each other, what happens, and I encourage you to read it once you got a hang of the game. For now, I'm going to skip my turn. This guy's going to get +1 defense, so will this one, which is good. They'll get less damage. And I'm going to charge forward. Yeah, by the way, here all the movement happens using the mouse, and on the main screen it's mostly with the arrows. Okay, I'm going to quickly run through this battle. Just let them attack me. I'm going to win this anyway. Oh, and by the way, if you toggle the view when you're trying to attack someone, then you're going to see all of the calculations in regards to damage, which comes in useful when you're trying to plan your attack. As you can see, the action log below tells you everything that happened, whoever skips their turn, whoever attacks someone. And we lost a dwarf and a gnome, and we defeated their army, which is pretty good. Okay, so now I'm collecting refresh tokens, which is a resource you use whenever you're trying to reroll something. For example, when you're buying units or picking artifacts that you're going to see later. Now I can either fight 6 evil dead or 11 pikemen, and pikemen are hiding more treasure behind them, so I'd rather go there. Okie dokie, let's pick up our gold. And here we actually have a choice of, we can access all 4 of these cards. Because on the next turn I want to buy some more units over here, I have to pick one of these two, otherwise I'll hit a wall over here. So I will again pick the unit that hides more treasure. One, by the way, one thing that I probably should tell you about is fleeing. If you haven't made a turn, if you haven't made a move yet, you can flee, and that will allow you to either pick a different opponent to fight or fight the same one but on a bit different terrain. So you can technically flee many times and choose a terrain that favors you the most. I'm really glad that I'm managing to preserve this guy over here because it continuously buffs my units during the battle, making them more durable. Okay. So I'm gonna fight these 30 fire ants, and then I'm gonna be able to hire new units, and you will see the refresh tokens and other things at work. Well, the chieftain didn't survive this battle, so that's sad. But it's okay, we will have reinforcements right after this. So here we finally come to a neutral creature's dwelling. And this is a screen where you buy units. So essentially you can either buy the current one or reroll using a refresh token. Well, the first reroll is free, but the subsequent ones need the refresh tokens to look at someone else. You can also inspect a unit here, so ogres are okay, I guess, but I don't want them. I also don't want the kobolds, so here I'm using a refresh token now. Yeah, I can buy Cthulhu cultists. They're ranged, so that's pretty good. Okay, so here I again have a choice of 4 cards. I don't really want to buy units because I'm low on money. By the way, the money also increases every turn by 500 plus whatever mines you find throughout the level. We haven't really encountered any this time. So looking here, I think I will go for this permanent +2 damage to every creature. Maybe not. No, I will. Like, my hesitation was because there are walls everywhere, so I don't really have choices after this, but I think this is fine. Obviously, when you play optimally, you're not supposed to just charge forward all the time, but for now it's gonna be fun. Okay, there we go. So you see over here you have Sharpen +2 now. If you click on it, it explains to you all the blessings you currently have. And we're really very unlucky with our banker benefit because there are no gold mines on the level so far. Oh, there I see one ahead. How they are fast. Okay, we lost 3 more dwarfs. You can see our gnomes are also giving us money every time, which can be read over here. Nomads, 5 gold to your stash. So this is a ranged unit, but because its range is lower than its movement, I can actually walk over and hit them, which I don't really want to do because I'll be within their range, but also because if a ranged unit has a melee unit next to it, or really an opponent next to it, it cannot shoot anymore, which is problematic. Okay. Another couple dwarfs lost. Okay, so we found tier 1 vouchers, which means that whenever you're buying units, there's 3 tiers of units, and if you are trying to buy tier 1 units, you don't have to pay gold, you can just pay vouchers if you want. So we could go for his higher tier 1 creatures location, dwelling, or we could buy some orcs or insects. I think hiring tier 1 is good for us because we have free vouchers essentially. These are hobbits which can shoot, so we will have to play a bit more smart than usual. Cannot shoot from here, so his range is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna stand over here. Okay. So I think as far as tier 1 units go. Archers are pretty expensive, so I'm gonna spend the vouchers on them. And I guess hobbits can hurt either, so I spent all my money. And I have more ranged units. So I'm definitely gonna go for this one because as a banker I get 400 gold per turn benefit from each mine. And I'm already seeing the final boss of this level, which is Necromancer Siege. So at this point I can also choose my, make my choices wisely to make sure that I can adapt to this boss, which when you have played enough you would know what army it has and what benefits it has. Okay, there we go. Yep, so as you see, instead of just 500 plus 800, or however much this thing was yielding, we actually get 400 bonus gold mines yield. And here I have an option. This doesn't seem very lucrative, but I could either go for tier 2 vouchers, namely 17 of them, or I could go for a blessing. Just for this tutorial, we're gonna go for a blessing. 13, 26 here, just to show you what blessings are. I guess computer is also playing smartly and not letting me shoot it, but I don't really care much. Yeah, we can sacrifice some dwarves, it's not a problem. Here we go. Okay, so blessings are another mechanic which lets you choose a buff or a debuff for the opponent. And I think Cursed is a pretty good one, so essentially every battle until the 25th attacked, the enemy units will deal minimum damage out of the range of damage they can deal, which for some matters a lot, for some not so much. I'm gonna accept this one, and I'm gonna come here. Okay, so before every boss, you will always see this selection of things. A trigger, which we haven't really had a chance to explore. Whenever you have army growers, the trigger, every time you step on a trigger, if you have army growers, they'll activate. So for example, you could say, you could have something like, increase my tier 1 stacks by 5, and then it would work. Unfortunately, we have none, so there's nothing gonna happen. There is a dwelling here. The dwelling is always of the type of the terrain you're on. So if every terrain is gonna show up once per game. And it's always an interesting question whether to go for a relic or the dwelling first, because technically they could block each other or buff each other, but we'll go for the relic. So a relic is a powerful artifact that changes some mechanic of the game, sometimes very significantly. So for example here, one of the relics offered is the Mixture Inherit, which buffs all of your tier 1 creatures, but you can't purchase tier 3 creatures anymore, which is a big deal. So look at my army right now. This is a tier 1, this is a tier 1, and these two guys are also tier 1, so it might make sense to take that artifact. But if we're thinking about the future... Oh, we have an even better thing here. So a giant magnet just summons a random giant after each battle, which is a giant deal. No pun intended. So I think I should go for this one, even though you won't see its effects right away. I could also go for Curse Leech, which summons 3 Reapers every time you're cursed, and because you get cursed immediately, you'll have 3 more Reapers for the upcoming fight. I think I'll go for the magnet. So here, it shows up on this list, and you will see, if we win this boss battle, you will see a new giant in my army. Okay, let us buy some units. Unfortunately, we don't have much gold. But a catapult sounds like a good idea. One more unit cannot hurt, right? And this building over here is exchange post. And essentially it lets you exchange units for a discounted unit, which sometimes comes in handy. So we could buy orc soldiers for 315 instead of 350, I think. But I don't know if they'll be very helpful in this fight. Scorpion... I think I'm gonna click on it just to show you how it works. So I'm gonna exchange my Cthulhu cultists for scorpions, and I expect to have something like 9,000 divided by 585, so 15, 16, 15 scorpions. There you go. Okay, let's go in for the fight, which we might not win from what I'm looking at, but it is what it is. And I'm gonna put the fire ant as early as possible because I wanted to attack things first and get the suck up the retaliation from the opponents, and then let my stronger units hit afterwards. Okay. Wow, the debuffs that we took for getting the giant magnet is so bad that our ranged units are pretty much not ranged. 1, 3, 1. This is terrible. We're definitely going to lose. I guess playing fast doesn't really help. Yes, catapult is absolutely useless. I kind of don't want to attack this mummy because one of the effects it has is it traps you. Now you can see it on the left, it prevents me from moving. So after it, my scorpion is going to be immobile, but maybe that's fine. What else can I do? Guess I could kill this. Actually, I can kill the ranged unit, that's what I should do, definitely. There. The leeches are dead. My ranged unit is not ranged at all, but it is what it is. So one great thing about the catapult is that it gives the opponent a burning effect. You can see it over here on the left. So then every time they take an action, they actually lose HP, which is very convenient. Actually, they lose a maximum HP, so after that, if there is a lot of them in the stack, it actually makes a big difference. Actually, we are winning this fight by the looks of it. Surprisingly so, may I say. Yeah, you see the unit health on the left is actually 53. So now we have 4 zombies with 53 health and 1 zombie with 10 health over there. Wow, he is finally untrapped, so that helps. Oh, the effect wore off, the short-sighted effect, so now he can actually shoot farther. Okay, we kill these, we kill these, we kill these. Oh, the catapult also died, it's terrible. Okay, but we won. And as you see, we got a frost giant into our army from the giant magnet, so that makes things really much easier. And at the end of each level, you also get a trigger So if you really suffered the boss fights, then you can replenish your army, but unfortunately we did not pick up any army growers. And then you pick which terrain to go to, so we could either go for a swamp or go for a forest. I'll just show you what it looks like, and we can stop here. So yep, after this, there's a 5 levels like this. If you get to the final boss, it has an incredible army, some super effects, and when you finish the game, you get some score assigned, and that score converts into shop credits, which you can use to buy new heroes and other things. I think that concludes our tutorial. Thanks for watching. Happy playing.